Morning, everyone. It is Rollie, and welcome to Chatting with Wisdom. And I am here with Vaishali. And so, Vaishali is a business strategist and a psychic, and on-the-go expert for entrepreneurs and business owners who would like to see and take control of their future in order to avoid confusion, panic, and uncertainty. By marrying her science, intuition, and business skills, she reveals to her clients how the outcome of different decisions will unfold in the future. Bottom line, they are able to take a peek in the future while being in present time to get back on track with their business goals. For example, she prevented a client from losing an investment of $150,000 in a bad venture and helped another client get a $35,000 raise for bidding on a contract. So Vaishali is the host of the popular podcast, The Uncanny Link, where physics meets metaphysics or science meets the woo, has appeared on nearly 50 top podcasts talking about her intuitive expertise. So welcome. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good. So one of the things that we were just chatting about just before you came on is it is 7 a.m. over there. So thank you so much for getting up so early to join us this morning. So can you tell me a little bit more about how you tapped into your intuition? Because that is how you actually work with your clients, is through intuition. So how did you start by being able to tap into that intuition?
So what happened is I was having some questions that I was looking for answers to. And I started contacting psychics. And this was a long time back, around 2014-ish. And since the psychics are supposed to see the future, I figured that they would be able to see my future and tell me what's going to happen so that I can know how to navigate the situation. I mean, how hard can it be? So I go to one psychic and I wasn't quite happy with the answers that she gave me. There wasn't enough clarity in it. And then I decided to say, why don't I just try a couple more? So I decided to try a couple more. And as I was trying these different psychics, before I realized I had consulted about 40 to 50 psychics, and I still didn't have any answers that I was looking for. So at that point, I kind of threw my hands up in the air and said, oh my God, these people are total clowns. They have no idea what they're talking about, and I need to figure this out myself. So I decided to figure it out myself. And I have a background in science or engineering. And so I'm actually a student of physics and maths. That's really what engineering is. It's a combination of physics and maths. So I said that, let me just test these theories and see if they are even real, because if not, I'm just wasting my time. So I decided to do some experiments. And I said that if I cannot test this on myself, and if I cannot see this play out in real life, then it's just a bunch of baloney. So I figured that, if you can see 3 months, 6 months out in the future, you could also see backwards. You could see 3 weeks, 3 days, 3 hours. So I decided to test it out over the span of an hour or so. Like I said, listen, if I can't prove this thing to work in an hour or 2 hours, then, I have to rethink the whole thing. So at that time, I used to go to the gym in the morning, and this was pre-COVID era. So I used to go to the gym in the mornings, and I said, like an hour is a good enough time. I would spend an hour in the gym, a little over an hour. And every day in the gym is going to be different because, you are not going to be doing the same thing, and you don't know what kind of interactions you will have with anyone, or you don't really know what's going to happen. So I said, let me test this out. And what happened is on the first day before I went to the gym, I kind of did a reading on how things were going to play out. And then I come back and I looked, and I have whatever prediction I had written, it actually played out. I said, well, okay, so let's try a little bit more. So then on the second day, I decided to do the same thing. And I come back and I compare my prediction to what actually happened. And believe it or not, that was true. So third day, the same thing. I write down my prediction. I come back, I look, and I said, "Oh my God, how can that be? 3 days in a row." So 1 or 2 days it can be a fluke, but 3 days in a row, I said, "No, there's something going on here." So now I had my eyes really open, and I'm like, "Oh my God, what's going on? I'm predicting my own future. This is too creepy." So I said, "Okay, if I can predict my future, that means I can change it." So the next day, I believe it was a Thursday, and when I would go to the gym, I would either run or I would do the stairmaster. So I said that if the reading shows that I'm doing a stairmaster, then I'll go and run, and if the reading shows that I'll run, then I'll go and do the stairmaster, so that I can disprove the reading. The reading is wrong and I'm right, kind of a thing. So what the reading showed completely floored me. So it showed that no matter what I did, I would be right, and the reading would also be correct. Did you want to take a guess as to what it showed?
I'm really interested to see what it is that, yeah, I don't know. I can't take a guess. I don't know what it would be. So do you want to tell me?
Yeah. So what the reading showed is a woman at crossroads, which means that I was undecided and I would take either this route or that route, and the choice was dependent on me. And no matter what I did, I would be right because, I'm undecided. So I either go this way or that way.
Yeah.
And the reading would also be right because the reading is showing that I'm undecided. So at that point, I realized that, oh my God, this is real. So now I need to study it. So then I started studying it, and I started making predictions, and I did a lot on myself. And then I started getting some clients, and then, it kind of gradually evolved from there. And now I've done like over 7,000 readings, and I have lots of clients who've come back saying, "Oh, this played out, that played out, that played out." So like now it's like normal normal life for me.
So how is it that, okay, so when you first started, you didn't just give up. So you said you like went in and saw 40 people and but like nothing was happening and it was always different and nothing was you weren't getting the information. So how do you like how were you able to justify how that kind of come into play, whereas that, because that's now what it is that you're doing in terms of predicting and giving people information. So how is it different?
So the information that they were giving, there wasn't any substance to it. It was like, "Oh, I see this, I see that." And, I needed some hardcore predictions. Like, you tell me that tomorrow, if I go out, I'm going to run into an accident. And it actually happens. So I believe it's real. So I needed, when you talk of a prediction, it is something which you should actually be able to see play out in real life. And none of them were able to give me concrete information or real data to show what it's going to be like what's going to happen. It was all very vague. And because I needed something precise, something which I can put my finger on and say that, yes, this is real, yes, this has happened. So it's, I don't think they had enough, how do I say it? I don't think that they had enough depth to the readings or enough information to be able to give out to me. I don't think they were holding it back. I'm not sure what was going on, but I did not get any of the answers that I was looking for. And even now, I still read with a few people here and there just to see how they do it. And there's always a level of dissatisfaction because I'm looking for something more precise and more concrete, like something to. So I used to actually design computer chips. So what we would do is we would have a target, and then, we would run a simulator, and then the simulator would show us the result. And then, we would need to tweak things to be able to make it meet their goal, kind of a thing. And in real life, you can sort of do the same things with readings. You can ask what is going to happen. And then if you see that, it's the reading shows something different, then You can ask questions to the effect of, so if I wanted this kind of a result, what would be my next step, kind of a thing. So it's more corrective and it's more predictive. But in order to be able to do that, you have to be able to use the tools properly and to be able to make the predictions properly. And it only comes with experience. I mean, yeah, all of us have psychic abilities, we are born with it, but it comes after doing lots of readings. It's just like running. Nobody gets up and they can run a full marathon in a day. They have to train for it, and they have to train their muscles, and they have to train their body. And the reading is the same way. You have to flex your muscles and you have to exercise them and read and compare how things play out. I test on myself every day. I still do it. And that's how I refine my abilities, and that's how I give so many details to my clients.
Okay. So what are some of the things that you do? Because you said using your intuition in business. So now, is this clients using their intuition or you specifically using your intuition? Because that was the title that you had chosen in terms of the topic. So how is it that so where is it that comes into play for your clients?
So clients are welcome to use their own intuition, and I use my own intuition too. So it's two different things. All of us are born with intuitive abilities. So all of us can use them. Some people are more trained than the others, or they have gone through some trainings to be able to use them. But even if you've had no training, I'm sure that a lot of people have had experiences with their intuition, telling that their intuition is asking them or saying to do one thing, and they end up not doing it, and then the result is not what they wanted. So as far as the clients are concerned, then everybody has intuitive abilities and everybody uses them knowingly or unknowingly at certain times. And if anybody is looking for more details or more in depth, that is where I step in and I help them.
Okay. So what is the process in terms of you being able to help them? So what is it that you do to be able to help them get the answers that they're looking for?
So typically they have a question or a situation or a scenario where they are looking for an answer to. And I'll give you a couple of examples, which you read in my bio. The first one was regarding a guy. And I'll also show you, I think one of your questions was, how do clients use their intuition as well? So when a client is coming to me, you have to realize that something in their intuition is triggering them to come to me because they feel that something is not right. And they're kind of looking to put their finger on, what is it? Is it me or is it something else? So this guy came to me, and he was going to get some gemstones from Australia. I think it was emeralds. And he was going to send $150,000 to this person. And $150,000 is a lot of money. No matter how much money you're making in today's world, it's still a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So it's obvious he was nervous, and he came to me and he said that I'm going to wire this money to him tomorrow. And I just wanted to make sure that, I'm going to get a good return on my investment. That was his question. So if you look at it technically from an outsider's perspective or from my perspective, he smelled that something may or may not be right, or he was nervous that, he may or may not be able to use his money in a proper way, as in to get a return on investment. So that was his intuition triggering him to kind of get outside help or get more information or get more in-depth knowledge as to what would happen. So I actually went and did a reading on him, and I told him that he was going to lose his money. So he was a little baffled. So I don't hold things back. So if you're asking me what's going to happen and I'm seeing that you're going to lose the money, of course I'm going to tell you that. Why would I sugarcoat it?
Yeah.
He said that he's going to lose the money. So he was, so that kind of led him to put a little bit of a break on his transaction and what he did. So he was a little smart, you can say that. And now that he knew that he was going to lose the money, because I essentially told him in those words, he went and asked that guy for his plane tickets. The guy with whom he was working, who was flying to Australia to get the emeralds, he said, can you send me a copy of your plane tickets? And believe it or not, the guy was not able to send the plane tickets, and the deal was off.
So it really is. So that was definitely, I definitely would want somebody to save me $150,000 if I was going to lose that. But it's just really interesting how just those little bit of clues that we get from that intuition and being able to tap in is really helpful. So you said you were going to give another example. So can you, what's the other?
Sure. So the other example, so these are business examples. I can also give a few personal examples after this if you're interested.
Yes, please.
So the other example was that of a girl, and she had actually been a client with me for a while, and she was going to put a bid on a contract. And she came to me and she was going to put around $225,000. So she was a little nervous. So obviously that's a large sum of money. So you don't want to like lose the contract just because you're bidding too high. So she was like, "Oh, I'm going to put $225,000. I know it's in this ballpark. I don't know if it's too high. Should I make it to 200,000 so that I actually get the deal and don't lose it because I'm overbidding? Or should I move it to 250,000 so that I'm not leaving money on the table?" Tough question.
Yep.
So, like I said, I use some of my math skills as well. I kind of embed them in my reading. So it's not obvious to the other person, but I kind of intermingle things. And when I looked at it, I saw the winning bid around 250 to 60,000. So I told her, if you put in around 250 to 60,000, then that's around the right ballpark, after which it's going to fall off. And she went and put in a bid of 260,000, I believe, and then she actually got the contract. So technically, she got like a 35,000 or a 60,000 raise because she was going to go as low as 200,000 on the contract. So that's like another way you can see and tell as to how you can sort of make things more profitable for yourself or for your business. And then if you look at it from the other side, she had a hunch that 225 was not the right thing. So that was like her intuition saying that, I need to cross check this number. And that's why she came to me, and she got a huge raise.
Nice. Yeah. So some of your clients are not just business clients, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So what are some of the other examples of another example of somebody from a personal perspective?
So when I first started, most of my clients were personal readings because that's just how I started. So a lot of the clients were relationship readings or love readings, and that's pretty much like a lot of the psychic world where a lot of people are seeking help related to relationship answers. And one of my readings for that one is I used to do a prediction of the future girlfriend or boyfriend kind of a thing. And I would predict what their future love is going to look like, where you would meet them kind of a thing. So one of the guys, I predicted that, he would meet her somewhere in a very dark room where there was very dim lighting and not enough space to move. And he came back, and did you want to make a guess where that was as far as the meeting?
The very first thing that came to mind is in an elevator that got shut down.
That's true. Actually, he met her in an elevator. So he said, "Oh, I was just going in an elevator." And see, now you're using your own intuition. So he actually met her in an elevator, and she was carrying books and the lighting was very dim. So that's how he met her. That's one of the examples.
That's really neat. And and I really love how because a lot of times people are like, oh, that's a coincidence, but it really isn't necessarily a coincidence, is it?
No, it's not. It's not really a coincidence. I think if you go back to the deeper science of this, then in even though we believe that time is linear, time is actually not linear, and the past, present, future are all happening at the same time. And just by being in present time is to think of it as dimensions. They are all dimensions. And by being in the present dimension, I can look in the future dimension and see what's happening. And then that's how I get the information and give it to them. So that's really how these readings work. That's like the science behind it.
So now, because you're talking about the science behind it, so how did you come to understand that science? Like, obviously that's what you study, but I mean, like, for being able to like do that comparison, because obviously you work with concrete information. That's the way that your brain works with being math and science, with physics. And so, like, how were you able to determine that that's how that kind of came to be?
So I had watched some videos. I'd watched some videos on YouTube because I was, like I said, I was testing these things myself, and I wasn't sure how I was able to predict it. It's like it hasn't even happened. Why am I able to predict things? That was like my biggest question, and the answer to that was like the future is actually a dimension, and it's like having a wall. It has we live in a three-dimensional world, and my eyes are starting to water. We live in a three-dimension. So even though there are three dimensions, we are. I don't want to say we are trained, but we believe that time is linear. That the sun rises and the sun sets, and we go through whatever happens during the day. But in reality, time is not really linear, and it's multidimensional. And I think it's the basis of one of the theories from Einstein. There were some YouTube videos where I saw this, and then I kind of put two and two together, and that's how things started making sense. And one other thing is that because of this, so essentially think of it as the boundaries of space and the boundaries of time no longer exist. And if you go about that route, if the boundaries of time no longer exist, it's almost as though I can see the future. And that's essentially what the readings are. You're getting a prediction of the future or taking a sneak peek in the future. And then as far as the boundaries of space are concerned, so just by being here, I can give you a prediction of something that is in your space. And I use this for missing objects. So like, for instance, if somebody is, let's say, I was doing a reading for my parents' key in India, and they had misplaced the key. And I gave them the location of the key. And they went and actually found it over there. But that's how the boundaries of space work. So because there is no boundary of space, I can actually see through space and predict where the key is. And I use that all the time for myself. If I've misplaced an object, where is the object? So it also flexes my reading muscles, and it also helps me locate the object. So that's the second aspect of it.
So I'm going to have to get a hold of you, because there's been something that we have been searching high and low and we cannot find it. So I'm going to have to definitely get a hold of you so that we can figure out how to be able to find it, because it should be in the most simplest place, because it's very important, but we can't find it anywhere, and it doesn't seem to matter where we've searched to try and find it. And so and normally when I can't find something, one of the things that I do is like, okay, I'm going to bed, and it's like I just need to be able to find this, and it still has not come forward, so I still don't know where it is. So I'm going to I'm definitely going to have to reach out to you for that for this missed object.
Yeah.
So because it really is like I know that my grandmother used to say, oh, well, you just have to ask for and I think it's St. Christopher for my grandmother. The St. Christopher was the founder of Lost Things, I think it was. But anyway, that's one of the things that she'd always say, just pray to St. Christopher. He'll help you find it. So that kind of thing. So, but yeah, it's really interesting how we've got that, how things just kind of interconnect, even though, and so when you were talking about the dimensions and how all that was happening, and one of the things that I visualized is that we're here, and like in the movies where somebody kind of walks through this invisible wall into another room or into another space, kind of thing. So just the way that you were describing it, that's the visualization that I had, in terms of that, that information. So do you have anything else that you wanted to be able to share with people so that they know, that you think would be relevant or important for them to know about you and what it is that you do, and how that can impact them?
That's a great question. I have a lot of things. So, can you, like, what exactly is, can you tell me a little bit of the audience so that I can share the proper thing?
So not all of my audience is are in business. Some of them are, some of them aren't. So I think a lot more of the people that that do watch are people who do everyday things, and they're either working moms or they are stay-at-home moms. Most of my audience is female, and so for all of the men who are watching, I know that there are some of you, but most people are female. And so, but yeah, I'm not sure what else that you would need to know.
Yeah, well, I think the best thing I can offer them is like a freebie, which I do like a one question free reading on my website. So there is a freebie. I can put the link here.
Okay.
And essentially what they do is they opt in through the email, and then there are instructions they can follow and ask their question and get like an answer. And if they need more clarification for that answer, then they are welcome to get in touch with me, and I can go more in depth on whatever it is the answer that they are looking for.
So for people who are in business that are watching, is there something different that you do with them when it's business, or like over business versus personal?
So the business readings are more focused on the business. So it's different because in the personal reading, you are reading like the person and what's going to happen in their life and how things are going to play out for them. Whereas in the business, the business is more of an entity or a structure. So you're kind of looking at the business. The person is influencing the business, or they are impacting the business. But it's two different things. So you look at the business, and then you look at the person and the person's influence on the business, and see what's going on. Because sometimes there can be more than one person influencing a business. You can have more than one owner, and it could be that, one of the owners' energy is not aligned, or one of the owners is putting in all the work. So it's a little bit different for a business than for an individual. As far as an individual is concerned, they're taking full responsibility. Well, hopefully. they're taking full responsibility for themselves. So they are responsible for their life. So it's a lot easier to look at the individual and give them the information. For a business, there are more factors that influence the business.
So is it possible to be able to, for anybody who is watching that aren't, because like I said, there are some people that do connect that are in business. So is there something that you would be able to offer, so they would have a choice of doing something either personal or business?
So I think they could use the same freebie for business as well. And I do have a business reading freebie as well, if that's what they are interested in for their business. So I can drop both the links in your chat.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
They are welcome to get both the personal as well as the business reading.
Okay. So if you want to drop the links in, and I will share them into the into the chat. And so for anybody who is watching, so somebody has actually been consistently watching, but they've been very quiet. And so do you guys have any questions or anything else that you'd want to be able to ask at this point based on the information that has been shared this morning? So my friend Christine said this was awesome. So she's really enjoyed this. So what did you like the most, Chris, in terms of the conversation while Vaishali is getting the links? So this first one, is that the business one or the?
No, that's free one. That's for the personal one. And I'm trying to look for the business freebie.
So I know that I personally liked how you were able to kind of correlate the two things between the dimensions. Like, I think that's probably my my biggest aha was because I know that there's the dimensions, but it's kind of like you really gave me that visual of like walking, like I said, literally just kind of walking through this mask of like a shield in the three-dimensional world kind of thing. So okay, so I just put in the business link. Well, so but yeah, I thought that this was really great, and I definitely am going to be reaching out to you to find out if you can help me find that that lost item, because like I said, I have torn this place apart trying to find it, and I don't know where it is. So I'm going to see if I can find it. So the whole intuition aspect of her method is what Christine said is that she was really intrigued by. So so thanks again for being able to take the time early this morning to join us, because it definitely is early. And if ever that you want to be able to jump back on again and have a conversation, is that if you want to change the time, just send us a message and we can coordinate a different time and get that set up for you. Because I will adjust the time sometimes depending on time zones, because I don't know that I'd want to get up at 7 a.m. to have an interview. So I'm an early bird, but I still kind of want to be in my PJs at 7 a.m. So, but definitely, if this is something that you are interested in, again, just let me know, and we can definitely coordinate a different time. But really looking forward to connecting with you in the future, and that this would be awesome. So thanks again. Is there anything else that you wanted to share before we ended?
No, I think one last thing is I do a free weekly forecast on my site. So if somebody is interested in seeing how the reading would play out over a week, just like I was testing my readings over the span of an hour, then you're welcome to opt in. So if it's on my main site, if they just go to my site on my index, on my main page, on my homepage, they can sign up for the free forecast as well and see how things play out for them.
Interesting. Okay. So yeah, so inside the description is the link to her website. So you guys are able to go in there to be able to get that forecast. And definitely thanks so much for these freebie links. And but I will definitely be in touch to be able to see, like, because seriously, that really got me intrigued about the key. It's like, oh, okay, maybe she can help me find this thing, because normally I can find it, but it's just not turning up for me. So yeah. I'm definitely going to connect with you on that one. And thanks again, everyone. I will be back again on Wednesday with another Chatting with Wisdom. And very soon, if it's not already in place this week already, is that we are also going to be on Spotify. So really super excited about that. So these chats are actually going to be going audio only as well. So super excited about those things. So chat with everybody soon and have a fabulous day. Bye for now.